Hey everybody, we have another Eagle's Nest video. We have QuakeDrop here. QuakeDrop just won the Eagle's Nest tournament Thursdays with 11 players. QuakeDrop, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Uh, Hello, YouTube. It's the QuakeDrop, winner of the Baton Rouge 2026 regionals, and I've topped a handful of Eagle Nest throughout the month. I've been mainly playing in them so I can get prepared for Gen Con. That's my big event that I'm looking to win coming up.
Great. So it's a pleasure to have you here. We have Shinegrey, which you've been on now for a few weeks. This Shinegrey looks to be upgraded from the 81 resurgence of the deck, and now you have the starter deck cards and the BT25 cards to add. What card in particular brought you to this deck? Because if my memory serves me right, you weren't playing this deck in 81. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but you started playing it in BT25.
Yeah, no, I did not play the ShineGreymon deck during 8001 because the new 8001 ShineGreymon is a beast in itself, and along with the Marcus and Agumon, they are very powerful. But like my issue with the deck was it wasn't consistent enough, and it wasn't low enough down to the ground. Like without the new star deck stuff, you had to place high rolling options like Digital Gate Open, and you had to like really invest into like, okay, I'm gonna play out these search cards that cost a lot to find my tapers, and hopefully I'm able to find 3, 4, 5, and 6, and plus tamer. So that, to me, that was not consistent enough to justify playing it, and that was until the starter deck came out, and we got a bunch of new tools that made the deck a lot more consistent and resilient for this current meta.
Okay, so we do have a couple cards here from the start. Well, I mean, we got everything from the starter deck essentially. That's Greymon related. So what do you want to go over first?
The first one, the most important one in my opinion, is the new starter deck Agumon. So, the fact that it has a win moving and on play, in my opinion, changes how you fundamentally play ShineGreymon as a deck. So you used to the issue with ShineGreymon before the starter deck in 8001 was that like your search plays to search out your tamers were high commitment. For example, like BT12 Agumon, BT16 Agumon, your plays that you had to do to search out your tamers were very high costed. But now with a searcher rookie that also doubles with being able to even in the back or leave in the back and then promote out means that you can justify playing low investment search spells like trainings and memory boosts, and you'll still be able to get the initial search that you need to find your data straight card traits, which is your Digimon and your Tamers.
Okay, do you do still run a one of the Light Fang Agumon? Is there a reason why you're still playing this card as a one of?
Yeah, the primary reason why is that I've been playing around with the ratios. I've been playing with like 11 rookies versus 12 rookies, and I've just really found that 12 rookies is correct because you want to have an initial rookie to play in the back, and then your second rookie will be like your searcher rookie. So like you want to put like the Sardek Agumon in the back, or you want to put the Warp Agumon in the back, and then the second rookie is going to be a 3-cost searcher pretty much. And BT16 Agumon is pretty much the fifth best name because BT12 Agumon is the best searcher, so why don't I play essentially a fifth copy of him? That's the justification behind it.
Okay, we can move on to the level fours unless there is anything else you want to say about the threes.
No, that's pretty much
Okay,
all I wanted to say about them. The fours, I think this is honestly the most important. Besides the Agumon, this is also the most important stage of the deck. It would be the brand new starter deck, GeoGreymon. In my opinion, this fixes like one of the major issues with the deck, and that is the fact that the deck, the old BT12
hmm
GeoGreymon could only play your Marcus and Demon if you had no other tamers on the board. And that really does conflict with the ShineGreymon strategy of sometimes you just want to hard slam out your tamer and then go up into your four, or sometimes you want to, or sometimes you just already have a tamer established and it basically whiffs the GeoGreymon, allowing you to be able to play it even if you already have one tamer on the board, meaning you can double up on your tamers, or you can like go turn one, put a rookie in the back, hard slam out a tamer, and then on your following turn, cool, promote up, Evo into the star deck GeoGreymon, and now you get your second tamer.
What
That
do you
effect
think
just
about
smooths out so many lines of the decks.
what do you think about these inherits? You've got DP here, DP here, DP plus another 2000 DP here, another 2000 DP here. When I saw that all these DP cards, I was a bit disappointed because I don't really think that's valuable to Shinegrey. What do you think about that?
I understand what you're talking about, mainly because like one of the old advantages of ShineGreymon was whenever you got up into your level 5 and 6, you had so many inheritables like okay, DP minus here, delete that.
Or draw a card?
I Yeah, I draw a card, yeah. But in my opinion, the DP buffs really do come up mainly in versus like the mirror match whenever you get ruin moded out, and the buffs really do matter in this meta whenever you go into your 8001 shine, so that you're able to delete very big bodies. Because whenever you go into your 8001 shine, you play out a Marcus, you give something lingering DP minus, and then the other alterns kicks in, which then allows you to delete something with as much or less. Meaning that you go into your shine. That normally it'll be buffed up by plus 4K, meaning it'll be able to hit 16K. Meaning that the DP minus effect can get something next to the big stack, and then because you're 16K, you'll pretty much be able to delete anything by its card effect. That's
Hmm.
why I consider the DP buffs to pretty much be as valuable as the other removal inheritables.
Okay. Then for the level fives, there was the mono yellow. Which set was that from? BT17 or something? It was,
Yeah, the BT17, the
yeah,
one that taps down the tamer. I
yeah.
remember that one. Yeah.
That one's replaced with the new starter deck Rise Gray. I mean, you're showing your favorite one is still the BT21. That it's essentially going to give you an alliance check with your tamer. It's really good Rise Gray, but how is this better? How is this an upgrade for the deck too?
So I'm glad you asked that. So the primary reason why I really do value the starter deck 24 Rise Greymon is because it has an on play. So in this meta, whenever you promote out and establish your level 6, most of the time versus competent decks in the meta, they'll be able to remove that 6 and establish their own level 6. So so you'll need to have a way to come back, and that's why I love the ShineGreymon deck. After you're able to establish your initial level 6 plus Marks and Agumon, or sorry, plus Tamer, even if your opponent outs your stack in the deck, you have so many native waves to just be able to hard slam something and immediately build back up into level 6. That's why I play 3 of the Warp Agumons, because most likely in this meta, Beostar, Bear Bros, TS slot piles, they'll have to end on a level 6 to out your level 6, and that turns on the Warp Agu. Following that up, BT21 Rise Greymon has an on play, which you on play it, you either make the 8001 or the BT12 markets into a Digimon swing out, and then on that swing you're able to go into your shine, and then your shine then deletes their body in response. And the BT24 Rise Greymon is essentially copies 5 and 6 of BT21 Rise Greymon. It just requires a little bit more of setup with the new starter deck the new starter deck tamers with their charge mechanic. I will admit it is hard to set up the charge mechanic, but in the longer, grindier games like versus Beostar versus Time Stranger, you'll net so much value off the Marcus and Thomas, and then you'll later be able to hard slam this for 7, do the minus 5K, and then be able to use its on play to be able to use your option, which most of the time should be the dual card, and then be able to just immediately get right back into the game. Is just very valuable in my opinion. That's why I'm playing 2 of the Star Deck Rise Greymon over the BT17
Hmm.
Rise Greymon.
Okay, and I think just about all of us are very familiar with the 81 Shine Gray already. There was a play that you made after your board got wiped. I think you just slammed down this guy. You might have evoed into it, but you essentially slammed down this guy after your board got wiped. Used trashed 2 bottom face down sources from your Marcus and Thomas
Marcus
tamer,
Thomas.
and it gave you the free evo into this guy, who again cleared board for you. Your deck essentially is either old Rise Gray into Shine Gray or new Rise Gray into dual Shine Gray. So is that a correct assessment? Is that what you're doing usually?
Yes and no. You're right on the first part. The second part of establishing the new Rise Gray into the dual card, you rarely ever get to do that as your first stack because you simply aren't able to set up enough sources for your Marcus and Thomas. Because most of the time, by the time you like promote up your level 3 or 4, you
Hmm.
should be going to Shine Graham on that turn, and you won't have enough sources under your Marcus and Thomas. Um, uh, so like most of the time, you'll just have your Marcus and Thomas with one source by the time you go into Shine,
Hmm.
and then on the following turns, after your board gets outed, you'll then be able to retaliate with the cool. Now I'll hard slam my starter deck Rise that I've been holding on to. Go play out the dual card, DP minus, kill, dual Arts Digivolve into Geogray, kill, and then end of turn, Marcus and Agumon swing Digivolve the Shine Gray Geosword into a rune mode. That's the idea behind it. Is that like um, the um, the Stardeck Rise Greymon is really good, but it's really good on the in the later turns after you have your setup.
Okay. Uh, what else about the dual card? Is it specifically better because there's a lot of Digimon protection right now, so you get around that with an option removal? Or is it just because you need more ShineGreymon names that it's in the deck?
I play it precisely because it is more Shinegrey names for the deck. Because it came from the Star deck, it has the Data Squad trait,
Hmm.
which means the new Agumon can grab it off of the search,
Hmm.
and the Star deck Rise Greymon can play it out.
So
That
it's
is like
your.
one of the major. That is like the only pain point of the new Star deck Agumon is that he only grabs the new line,
Hmm.
and the new line is very good, but that means you're going to be whiffing on like your old Geo Greys and your old Rise Greys. But thankfully, Agumon does grab both of the new Shine Greymons. So like you're effectively able to always, you're almost always going to be able to find them because you have the Star Deck Agumon, the BT21 or BT12 Agumon, and then you have the search spells as well.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, Level 7s, you're doing a variety package here. Ruin mode and burst mode. I think most people are going to be going into ruin mode early, whereas burst mode is a game ender. Uh,
Yeah.
what decks in the meta is ruin mode still great against? And when do you
Oh,
just want to go into burst mode and you don't care about ruin mode?
okay, so I used to be on a 2-2 split on two burst modes and two ruin modes. The idea behind it is that like, oh, I'll just simply search or draw the ones that the correct one in the matchup that I need. But after testing rigorously throughout this metagame, I found that I do not need the second copy of the burst mode because since this is a Shine Greymon name and it's a Data Squad trait, I should be able to effectively dig through my deck and find it when I need it, thanks to the new starter deck Agumon Searcher. And even if it falls into the trash, I'm playing Yellow Scramble to get it back. The burst mode's pretty much been like a win more option, or like a win more, or like an emergency. Like I need this to then be able to turn out sideways. I've even been able to like you saw during the finals. I used it for its option effect just to kill an unaffected body.
Yes.
So Shinegrey burst mode is pretty much a how I see it is pretty much an option card, an option removal that like maybe one in every 3 games I can then use to just high roll kill somebody with.
Yep. Uh,
The ruin
I,
modes on the
I'd
sorry.
also say like the use cost of 6 to do minus 15,000 is already a good rate, and then on top of that, you're also playing out a tamer if you want.
Yeah, yeah, and then the tamer play can also combo with your BT 21 geogram one. So it's not completely. It doesn't just say pay 6 DB minus. It does pay 6, and then you may be able to combo off of it. So it is like very valuable even as a one off. And then moving on to the other ones,
Yep.
Shangri-La Rune mode.
Yep.
The theory behind the Shangri-La Rune modes is that they're able to effectively lock out every single time stranger deck that plays a lower bottom end. All the TS decks like Volcanishamon or Volkismon, the Bear Bros, even like Blue Time Stranger. They all have to play the lower ends to then be able to build up to the stacks. So Rune Mode does lock that out. It also locks out some builds of it locks out Glowing Dawn and some builds of Beelstar. But like
Hmm.
the main theory behind the rune modes is that like on a turn after if I high roll somebody and I'm able to go into 81 shine, and
Hmm.
let's say I find rune mode later on after I do the full combo, the initial push of Shine Greymon.
Hmm.
Cool. So that just means that if my opponent outs my initial Shine Greymon, cool. I'll on the retaliation, for example, I'll play out like the Warp Agu, then I'll hard evo it into the Shine Greymon. Shine Greymon will then delete their big bodies, and then end of turn, my Marcus and Agumon will then be able to swing, and then now I just out of their board and now put them under ruin mode in retaliation to their level 6.
Yep.
So it's a lockout card, but it's mainly a lockout card later on in the game after I've simplified the board state. That's the idea behind it. And because it's a 2 off, I'm able to very effectively find it.
So I used to play ShineGreymon back in BT13, and my complaint of the deck was one, a little bit bricky, but mostly if you just don't win on your first push up, you're just going to get wiped out. Deck has no protection, takes too long to rebuild. The deck is completely different now. You do so much damage with your push up, and you don't even care if you're finishing them off, and you also don't care if you have protection on your stack. I mean, there's a very limited amount in the deck, but it exists at a small amount. Um, your How do you feel about the meta being very controlly and very aggressive at the same time, and how does Shinegrey fit into that meta?
I think I specifically built my Shangri-Mon list to excel in this meta. I initially built this as a counter to Beelstarmon and Glowing Dawn.
Hmm.
It's because I should theoretically be faster than the two of the decks because they are decks that require to find their options and establish their tamers. Well, I just need a cool because the Agumon, when moving, gets a search, and then the GeoGreymon, the new starter deck GeoGreymon, plays out my Marcus Damon. Whenever I promote up, I can effectively go cool. Promote up Agu on turn two. I can effectively go cool. Promote up Agu. I find the piece that I need. Go into starter deck GeoGreymon. Play out the 8001 Marcus and Damon. Then I'll digivolve into my 5, and then end of turn 8001 Marcus swings out, and then I have my 6. So then on my turn 2, I establish my level 6, and I pass over the opponent around 3 to 4 memory. Then they retaliate with their combo, but they're not able to kill me because it's most likely going to be their turn 2 or 3. And then now that I put my opponent in a bad situation where they had to promote up and respond to my board, I can now just go, cool, you added my level 6 with your level 6? Cool. Warp Agumon, go into another Shine, out that board, or I hard slam out ShineGreymon, swing out, and then I go into Shine. The
Hmm.
idea is that cool, I want to be faster than every single meta deck in the format, and then whenever they retaliate to my board with their removal, I can then go cool. I'm just gonna ShineGreymon you again, and now you have to deal with the ShineGreymon after I already outed your initial board that you had to invest all your pieces into.
Do you have any closing comments about the deck or the tournament today?
The main closing comment I had to do wanted to point out was the bottom the search spells. I wanted to mainly point out how now you can justify playing trainings and memory boost in ShineGreymon because the starter deck Agumon, whenever he moves out, you could then get a search, and because the new GeoGreymon pretty much can never whiff except on the BT12 one, you can effectively go cool. I'll put Agumon in the back. I'll play out a training. Then on your following turn, you go cool. Promote up Agu, I get a search, training into the level 4, play out your Marcus, and then Evo into your 5, and then you just basically the world's your oyster. You can effectively now run your low commitment search spells, and fight for board. That's why I really do love this version of the deck.
Great. Thanks a lot, QuakeDrop, for the interview. Congratulations on first place at Eagles. And we'll see more of you later. Have a good night.
Peace out.